Today is a good day. I got an email this morning from Exalted Funeral. Guess what's on Kickstarter? Dolmenwood by Necrotic Gnome. Let's take a sneak peek.
Hey there, it's DM's off. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button so you know when we upload new videos. Alright, it's Dolmenwood, finally on Kickstarter.
I am so excited for this. So, Dolmenwood has been something that Gavin Norman has been putting together for probably 10 years, probably longer than that. Dolmenwood is kind of a fantasy, fairy tale sort of setting. And it's something that I've been supporting on Patreon for some time. And so I was really excited to get the email this morning.
The Kickstarter is live, it's ready to go. There's a link down in the dungeon if you want to take a look.
So Dolmenwood, Adventures and Peril in Fairy Tale Woods.
Man, that is really cool.
I have to start off by saying that this is probably not a setting that is for everyone. But there is so much awesome packed in here. So it doesn't matter if you are into Greyhawk or Mystara or the Forgotten Realms. There is something in here for everyone.
Well, at least we think so.
Yeah, there's 3 books that are being created. There's the main campaign book, which is clocking in at 421 pages currently. There is the player's book, which is at 200 pages. And then there's a monster book that's clocking in currently at 140 or 139 pages.
That's a lot of text and a lot of things going on.
Yeah, more than you would think for what has been created. Now on Patreon, Gavin has been giving out his updates as he's been going along. First he started off with smaller little 1-page, 2-page, and then that opened up into 5-page spreads and then 10-page spreads, so on and so forth. All the way to now he's been giving out these full book previews for the Patreon supporters.
Didn't they close down the Patreon so that you can't do that anymore?
Yeah, that's true. You can't do that. As far as I am aware, they cut it off, I don't know, a few months back to where those that were part of the Patreon, they are just kind of locked in and that's it. So you're going to have to wait for this book, but hopefully a video like this kind of gives you a brief overview.
Yeah, and didn't Ben Milton from Questing Beast do one today?
Yes, he did. So if you want a bit of a deeper dive, I would head on over to his channel. There'll be a link down in the dungeon so that you can view what he went into. So out of these 3 books, I'm just going to go over real quick. I'll just do one book at a time here.
Yeah, let's look at the monster book. Nice.
So the monster book is 139 pages. There is a wonderful bestiary here with brand new sorts of monsters. Things that are all flavorful within the Dolmenwood campaign setting.
You got an antler wraith, a banshee. Well, that's something that you can find in most books.
Yeah, but it's specific to what's going on here. And even within these spreads, it talks about the encounters. For instance, the Antler Wraith, encounters 1 through 4. Nice, so that you can roll a d4 to find out what kind of encounter it is. Let's say it's number 2. Slowly encircling a group of 2d4 gravediggers who stand rigid with fear besides the wraith's half-unearthed horde.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, and a lot of these, I think probably all of them have some sort of encounter. And you can see even here on this one page for the Basilisk that things are not completely fleshed out. Even though it is on Kickstarter, he's still working on it. He's working on it most days, I think.
Now, Gavin Norman, obviously, for those of you that don't know, is the creator of Old School Essentials.
Yeah, so you know if you've gotten your hands on Old School Essentials, it is quality. All of this stuff that he puts out just gives all the mainstream corporations like Wizards of the Coast a run for their money.
Absolutely.
Bog Corpse, a Bog and a Bog Salamander, Brain Conch. Let's go like deep in here. Droon, this is a a faction of people within the game. Elf, and the elf is different from your regular elves. It's more of a fairy tale elf.
Oh, I kind of like that take. Instead of a Lord of the Rings type of J.R.R. Tolkien sort of elf, it is fairy tale.
Yeah. Kelpie. Nice to see the Kelpie in there. Jack-o'-lantern, my favorite. Mad Tom. Mannequin, great whimsical sounding things, the Mogglewomp.
That's awesome.
The Merfawn, so it's a fawn that is also merfolk. Great stuff. The Mossling, one of my favorites that are in here. It's actually a playable character in the player's book.
Very cool.
And so, yeah, just great, wonderful things that are set within the Dolmenwood that have the flavor of Dolmenwood. All right, let's take a look at the player book now. And the player book is actually where all the rules are. It's based upon Old School Essentials and the basic and expert Dungeons and Dragons. But all of the rules that you need are right here in this book as well. So you don't need to go out and buy Old School Essentials. You can just get the player's book and boom, you've got the rules and everything you need to adventure in Dolmenwood.
Goes into creating a character and the 13 things you need to do. An actual example of creating a character. Ability scores, which are all the normal stuff that you know. Strength, intelligence, wisdom, dexterity, constitution, charisma.
Yeah, and it's all laid out just like he most intelligently has done in Old School Essentials, where you've got these 2-page spreads where you're looking at all the information that you need right there. And if it goes on, it's within the next 2 spreads. Alignment, advancement, all on one page.
Very cool.
Yeah, and there's like these goat folk people, which I totally ripped off for my own setting.
Nice.
Elves, elf names. Grimalkin, which are like a fairy feline sort of race.
Oh, those are tasty. I'd like to eat up the felines.
You eat cats?
Yeah, kind of like Alf.
Oh, dude. Awesome. Humans, mosslings, woodgrews, great stuff. And the woodgrews are like these bat-like fairy folk.
Very cool, man. I really like this.
And the class is a cleric, an enchanter, a fighter, a friar, hunter, a knight. And you can pick one of the houses of Dolmenwood, which are all detailed in the campaign book. Magician, which is your wizard class. A minstrel, like the bard. Thief, so on and so forth. Talks about magic.
Yeah, arcane spells. Looks like the normal sort of things that you would have, but sometimes they're named something different.
Yep. And what's cool, they have up to rank 6, which would be your 6th level spells. And then fairy magic, which is a whole new runic system of magic.
Really awesome.
Yeah, if that doesn't whet your appetite, I don't know what will. I'm not going to go into that right now because I'm just looking at a quick overview here. Holy spells, which are your cleric spells. Mossling knacks, things that they can do, etc. Equipment. So really, you've got your game right here in the player's handbook, and he's got things laid out for lodgings and food, beverages, pipe leaf.
Hey, aren't you creating a pipeweed sort of supplement?
Yeah, that's in the works, but he's got it here, something that is about pipeweed, hearkening to J.R.R. Tolkien, and it's a 1-page spread. Really awesome. Mine's going to be a little bit more in-depth than this, but man, I love seeing this stuff in it. It's a favorite. It's a favorite of mine. Yeah, love it. Common fungus, fungi and herbs, adventuring, encumbrance, hazards, etc.
Travel, camping, settlements, dungeons, encounters, combat, other combat matters.
Houses and the saints of Dolmenwood. It really goes deep. So I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to bring up the campaign book now. We're just looking at this briefly so that you get an idea. It's 421 pages projected. It goes into the secrets of Dolmenwood, factions and powers, settlements, exploring the wild, hex descriptions, which is the bulk of the book. 170, or page 170 is where it starts, and then it goes to page 374.
Wow, That's amazing.
Yeah, there's so many. So it talks about campaigns you can have in Dolmenwood, the regions, and it breaks it down, has the map here and what the regions are and what they're called, and breaks everything up on each page, has a description for it. Again, more of the same. History of the area, ley lines and standing stones, the Ring of Chell or Chell.
The shrines that are all throughout Dolmenwood that you can visit?
Yeah, there's like a Catholic sort of overtone that's there, and you've got friars and saints and all of this that are all plugged into the setting, and they all feed into this religion versus fairy sort of thing.
And I really like the darkness of the fairies.
Yeah. There's fairy roads here that you can actually travel through and go into what you might know as the Feywild. It's really awesome concepts, and you could get lost there or get off the beaten path, etc.
Fairy nobles and their domains. Who they are, brief descriptions, and then what happens if you encounter them. Some of them, anyways.
Wood gods, factions, and powers within the game, and these goat-like people, Atenue? I don't know how you say that. Also known as the Nag Lords. Their origins are unknown, and they're part of this whole thing. So it's like there's layers upon layers, and it's very, very deep. Church of the One True God. So all the clerics and everything that are in here.
The Cold Prince. Didn't he talk about that in Winter's Daughter?
Yeah, the adventure Winter's Daughter talks about the Cold Prince, which is a fairy prince, and great backstory there.
The Droon, which are a sinister cabal of sorcerers who covet occult knowledge above all else.
Human nobility and the houses that are there, and if you become a knight as a player, you can grab onto one of these. Let's scroll through. Oh, the witches. I'm all about the witches. Love witches. So much so that I have a witch class, of course.
But it says, a secret sect of women who commune with ancient gods in the deep woods.
Yeah, my kind of magic going on there. Really awesome. And what's cool is that, like, Selenia, the queen of all witches, she has 50 hit points. That's actually more than in Old School Essentials. A red dragon has 45. So she's kind of a badass.
Hell yeah, she is.
All the different settlements here, there will be the map and everything telling you about the different shops and things that are in the town. Castle Brackenwold.
Cobden on the Shiver, which is obviously on a waterway. Dreg and Shantywood Isle, again on a waterway, and here's the Shantywood Isle.
And some of the things, and maybe it's just because Gavin lives in England, but some of these, the way things are named is just awesome to me. Like the Ditch Way. I don't know. It just speaks to me. It's just friggin' awesome.
Yeah, it is cool. It's got that whimsical nature to it.
Fort Volger, High Henkel, Lankshorn,
Megry's Reach, Odd. Yeah, Orb Swallow, Prigwort, Woodcutter's Encampment.
Now, exploring the wild. Now, there's a lot of different charts and random encounter sorts of things and terrain types it tells you about. Shows you consequences of getting lost, different weather tables. Really great. You don't really need to go away from these 3 books. You can grab these 3 books, start your campaign, and go. Encounters, regional encounters, fishing, foraging,
hunting, camping, optional rules. Cool.
Now, here's where a lot of work has gone in. Not that there's not a lot of work everywhere else, but the hex descriptions. So each hex is that standard 6-mile hex, and this tells you about what's in there. But let's go to one.
So there's 2 things here, the ruined cottage and Fort Volger and the Galosher's Pool.
Yeah, so it shows you where it is on your main map and what hex it is. It tells you what the terrain is, the encounters, whether you can get lost or what encounter that you might have. It's 3 in 6 chance. Ley lines and what is attached there. Within the Ring of Chell. I think it's Chell, could be Shell. So it tells you what's in here. There's a charred cottage. There's secrets of the phantoms, muttering phantoms, all in this area. just below this, and you can tell that each hex is near each other. Like this one on this opposite page is just south of the ruined cottage, is this area here, and goes into the same things. Gives you a description of Fort Volger, the Galosher's Pool, and different things about it and what you might encounter. And then if you do encounter something, boom, there's stats right there.
Wow, this is really well laid out.
Yeah, and it doesn't have a lot of fluff. It gives you what you need, and you get straight to the point and straight to gaming.
Gavin Norman, we love you. We love you so much. You're the fucking man.
Yeah, you and your team are just knocking it out of the fucking park. Pages and pages and pages of this. It tells you right here what the hex number is, so you can find it on the big map or reference it from the big map. Come here to the page and get all the information that you need.
Gavin Norman again shows corporate role-playing companies like WotC how to design games and supplements.
Yeah, this translates to how to give the consumer what they want.
You may or may not like the setting. However, you cannot help but pause and see that a gamer took the time to figure out what a player or a game master needs.
Yeah, you've set the bar, period. You have set the bar. I would say the two supplements that are out there, or things, this is coming out, but the two things that are the best of the best. One is Pirate Borg. The other is Dolmenwood, without a shadow of a doubt. All right, so something that I wanted to point out was that this campaign setting, instead of being an entire world, instead of being just nations upon nations upon nations, is this big. Each one of these hexes, I don't know if you can see it. I can zoom in here. Each one of these hexes, like 1006 here, this is a 6-mile radius. And if we zoom out, you can see, I'm going to have to do math here.
It's about 80 miles tall and 120 miles wide.
Yeah, so in the grand scheme of things, it's not that big. And you can take this setting and plop it into your world. The sheer vastness of what he's done in a very small area has kind of completely changed how I look at developing my own campaign.
Yeah, you don't have to go and do these epic worldwide things, even though that's cool sometimes. There's something awesome about being in a certain area.
Yeah, and the only people that I guess would screw that up are players that are just like, well, I'm bored here, let's go somewhere else.
Yeah, so you kind of want to talk up front and say, hey, we're playing in the Dolmenwood, so let's hang out in the Dolmenwood.
Yeah, so there should be connections to this area so that people don't flippantly just brush it off and say, okay, I'm out of here.
Absolutely. Very cool.
So yeah, like I said, the link is down in the description to the Kickstarter. Go and check it out. Support what Gavin Norman is doing. And yeah, I don't have anything else to say.
Yep. Thanks for stopping by, everybody. We'll see you on the next one.
Later. This video is brought to you by the generous support of our patrons. Consider becoming a patron. There's a link down in the dungeon. Down there. Also, we have links to other places that Agranak Studios is at.
All right, do this and do that and do this and do that. And watch this video.